Oh, hey, I got a question for you. Have you ever had a messed up haircut? And thinking on that, have I ever had bad haircut experiences? And the answer to that question is hell yeah, I've had some bad haircuts. But what's the worst place I can think of that I've had the worst haircuts? Probably what I'm gonna say is gonna trigger some PTSD in you guys. It's gonna awaken some sort of trauma and suppress memories that you've hidden away in the back of your mind. And if you can relate to this, leave a like. But I think the worst place is probably Supercuts. I've definitely had some of the worst haircuts and the worst experiences at Supercuts. If you have had those experiences also, drop a comment so I know that I'm not alone. But Supercuts gotta be one of the worst. But there's a reason for that, and do you know what that reason is? So I've been doing a lot of digging around, and I've been talking to people that have bad haircut experiences. I've heard people online talk about how their barber messed them up and how bad their hair experiences have been. But the key word there was barber. People are always talking about how their barber messed them up. And then they're crying about how the haircut's so bad, and they come out looking like this, and it's super terrible, the worst haircut I've ever seen, the worst haircut they've ever had, and they're going on and on and on about how their barber messed them up. And then you question them, and you're like, well, where did you go get your haircut? And they'll list Supercuts. Well, my dude, that's the reason your haircut's messed up. You didn't go to a barber. Supercuts and these places are not barbershops. They are a salon. The people that are working on your hair in there are not barbers. They are hairstylists from cosmetology school. Do not link us barbers in with that crowd because it's not the same. Cosmetologists, when they're in school, they don't learn men's haircuts to that extent. They do a small segment on just the basics of how to use clippers and trimmers, but they do not focus on men's hairstyles. So there's a reason that you go to these places and you end up coming out with a messed up haircut because they don't know how to do men's hair. They're not barbers. So if you want a really good haircut and a quality experience, if you're a guy, you need to go find a true barber that's gonna know how to work on men's hair, that specializes in men's hairstyles specifically, because then they're gonna get you right. And then you're not gonna have these bad barber experiences because you're working with an actual barber who knows what they're doing. And if you don't believe me, I got some receipts for you. I did some research online. I looked up bad Supercuts haircuts, and here's a couple of haircuts that I found on there. Just some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. I would never be caught dead going in there and getting haircuts like this. Now that I know better, I stopped going to Supercuts. Just these haircuts are some of the worst I've ever seen. But you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because it is online. Well, lucky for you, I have my own personal experience with this. Here's some of my haircuts that I was getting from Supercuts. Obviously, you can tell they're not the best, and that's why I stopped going. It's basically going from like bald hair on the sides to a bunch of hair flopped up on top that just doesn't look good. I think that's the only way they knew how to do it. I was asking for these like faux hawk, mohawk type of styles, but there's no fade, there's no blend. It was just pretty much bald to a bunch of hair on top because I think that's the only thing they knew how to do as far as men's styles that way. And if that's not good enough for you, I have a friend that is my client. He's been my client for a while now. I saved him from Supercuts. This is the type of haircuts that he was getting. He just looks like you would roast him in the group chat. He looks nerdy. My man straight looked like he was having no game. The haircut just wasn't doing him any justice. He just looked so bad with this haircut. But I saved him from that. Let me show you the power of what a real barber can do for you. But before I do that, can you guess how much they were paying for these haircuts? Now it might shock you. You think that Supercuts in these places are really cheap and that you're getting a cheap haircut. That's why most people go there. But these haircuts are actually costing around $30. I looked it up. These are some of the prices. It's around $28, $30 for a basic haircut. And then they also have this little thing at the bottom that says barber special services that costs $40 to $50. Meanwhile, there's no barbers in the shop. So I don't know how they can say barber specialty services, but would you pay upwards of $50 for these haircuts? I don't think so. I'm not paying 50 bucks for something that looks like that. Absolute trash. But let me show you what a barber can do when they know what they're doing. Here's some of my haircuts. So I have over 5 years of experience cutting hair, and I have over 10 years of experience cutting my own hair. So these are just some hairstyles that I did on myself. This one's a basic comb over. You can tell this one's old. I don't have my neck tattoo in the back. If you guys are brand new to the channel and haven't seen me before, this is a mohawk kind of burst fade that I was doing on myself, and you can't tell me it doesn't look way better than what I was getting from Supercuts. Here's my friend again from Supercuts. If you guys aren't new to the channel, you've seen him plenty of times on the channel, but just look at how these haircuts suit his style and just really enhance his overall look. He just looks so much better with these haircuts. Like, he really just went from having no game to having everybody blow up his phone. And it's our job as barbers to enhance the look of our clients and have them feeling confident. Again, with this haircut, he came in looking pretty shaggy, and then bam, he looks so much better with this blowout taper. Just something that, you know, you talk to them about and it just brings them confidence. Again, we got a mop of hair on top, definitely needs a cut, and we got them right. That is something that barbers do. They tend to the quality, giving you the best service that they can and making sure that you're leaving looking good and feeling confident. And so do you see the difference in the quality now? I only charged $35 for these haircuts. I was charging $25 for about 4 years, and then just recently I upped my prices to $35. But do you think that's worth it for these style haircuts versus what you saw from Supercuts? I think it's a night and day difference, and a lot of men, they just don't know any better. They've grown up thinking that Supercuts is the only thing around, but that's just not the case. I want to change that stigma, and that you can have a good barbershop experience if you go to a real barbershop. Stop going to Supercuts. They're not going to know how to do your hair if you're a guy. So go do some research and find you a good barber that knows what they're doing. They can tailor to your style. They can give you exactly what you want, because that's what they specialize in, is men's hairstyles. But with that, you do have to do your research and find a barber that can offer those services for you. You can also get messed up by different barbers that don't know what they're doing. So you have to be smart. You have to find somebody and do your research, look up their portfolio and see that they're doing the type of hairstyles that you like. And then you should have no problems getting a great haircut. I just want to do my part in educating men that there are other options. You don't have to stick around Supercuts and get your hair messed up all the time. Go find you a good barber, build a relationship with him, and he's gonna take care of you, especially if they know how to style your hair and give you what you want. They're gonna take the time and the effort to give you the best quality service that they can, and most of the time they're gonna be around the same price point as places like Supercuts. So you're not really missing anything. You're actually gaining better quality for the same price. So which one would you choose? If you guys like this video, go check out my other videos. YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this video, so go check it out. But it's your boy Pico.Blurred, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.